Hi, I'm Stephen with AlbertaUrbanGarden.ca. Today we're going to make pin cherry wine. I'm making this pin cherry wine from some pin cherry reduction that my grandparents sent over in the fall. You'll notice on the bottom there is a bar. So if you've completed one of the steps and you're following along, feel free to click to the next step. It'll bring you right to the next phase of making this wine. So next to my raspberry rhubarb wine, I have pin cherry wine started. So this is a pin cherry juice that my grandmother and grandfather prepared for me and sent with my parents back from Ontario. So it's a frozen block with a little bit of juice here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this up and I am going to leave it for 24 hours to melt, and we'll come back. So I've covered it up with saran wrap. Not sure if you can see this, but it's just loose and there's an air pocket there. That's just to prevent stuff from getting in there. So we have 6 liters of pin cherry juice. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the sauce from maraschino cherries. And that's going to be fairly simple to do. These pin cherries are fairly bitter, assuming I can get this open. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the sauce from some maraschino cherries. Because pin cherries are fairly bitter, this should add some nice sweetness to it. Then what we're going to do is we are going to add sugar to this. So it's a ratio of about 1:1 for the original juice, 6 liters to pounds of sugar. So what we're going to do is we're going to add that sugar and we'll come back. So what we're going to do is we're going to take equal parts syrup, so 6 liters, and put 6 liters of sugar in there, which is, this is 1 cup, which is 240 milliliters, so we will put the equivalent to ounce in there. So we're going to mix this up. The next part for that 6 liters, we're going to add 6 liters of water. Now you want to make sure that it is not chlorinated or fluorinated water, and that will greatly improve the taste. So we're going to add 12 of these. So you want to mix up and make sure all the sugar is dissolved. So you want to then add Campden tablets. So what you can do is you'll add 1 to 2 tablets per gallon of water, and I'll put in the description below the conversion into metric. And what Campden tablets do is they pretty well sterilize. They either kill or they put into stasis the naturally occurring yeast that happens on the fruit, the original fruit, and allows your yeast, your brewing yeast, to really take off. So I'm just going to finish crushing that up. So with the Campden tablets in there, you just want to give it another good stir. So what we're going to do is we're going to place the cover on there and leave it for 24 hours. 24 hours. Next thing is to take a packet of wine yeast or champagne yeast and just sprinkle it on. So it's been 3 days of the pin cherry wine in the primary fermenter. So what we're going to do now is rack it over into a clean, sanitized and sterilized carboy. So it's fairly simple. What you want to do is you want to remove the cover. We just use saran wrap this time because I only have 1 plastic case. You take this end, the black end. What this does is it actually sucks from the top as opposed to the bottom. So if you do have sediment in the bottom, you shouldn't have a problem with it sucking up quite as quickly. So I just push it about halfway down the water column and just push it against the side to begin with. And you take 1 big suck and try not to get any in your mouth. So this phase is important. If you want to clear this out in the next phase, you'll just continue to rack it over. And you just make sure that you're trying to suck up as little sediment as possible. So we're going to finish this up and we'll come back. We've racked it over. What I'm going to do is I'm going to top this up just a little bit with water. And this is water without chlorine or fluoride in it. You can fill it up to kind of just about to where it starts to finish the vertical component on here. So the last part you'll need is an airlock. I'm going to try this airlock to begin with. What you do is you fill it with just clean water. There's usually a line on there, just about there. And what this does is this prevents oxygen from entering the system, but it allows the carbon dioxide that's going to be produced by the yeast. Well, it consumes the sugar to make the alcohol. The byproduct here is carbon dioxide. It allows the carbon dioxide to escape while not allowing oxygen to come back in. So we're just going to store this in an elevated place for about a week, and if it's got a lot of sediment, we'll rack it again. Elevated, warm place, kind of between 18 degrees and 20 degrees centigrade, and we'll come back. So it won't start right away, but you'll see bubbling here begin about 12 hours after it's racked into there, and then it'll start really going. You got to watch out so that it doesn't blow out though. So this is my 3-gallon carboy with Pin Cherry wine in it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to check the specific gravity. So the next step is to check the specific gravity. So why don't you come on in closer and I'll show you my my wine thief and how you check specific gravity. So we can remove the airlock and bung. We're done with that now. So what this is this is a wine thief. It has a plunger on the bottom that allows you to grab the wine, but as soon as you pull up, the stopper pulls and keeps wine in the column. So we just push this down till it's full and pull it up. So this is definitely a dessert wine. As you can see, it's sitting at about 1.18, which is definitely a dessert wine, which is exactly what we expected. Now to release this, all you have to do is press that plunger down and it'll drain back in. Next step. So the next step is to use a siphon rod. What this siphon rod does is it actually pulls from the top as opposed to the bottom, allowing you to avoid bringing sediment in. You want to be careful not to bring any sediment in because that will affect your flavor at the end. So basically you put that in there. I like to put it against the side, about halfway down. What you want to do is you want to start the siphon off in one quick movement. So now it's time to bottle. The best thing I find for bottling is this little bottling tube. On the one end it has glass that securely fits in the spout here. On the other hand it has a stopper, so you can plunge that down into a bottle of wine. The stopper will go up, the wine will flow, and as soon as you're done filling it, you can simply lift it and no more wine comes out. So what we're going to do is we are going to attach this and get the first bottle ready. So what I've done here is I've actually put one of our bottles on a white piece of paper to provide a color contrast so you can see just the beautiful color that that comes out of this wine. Now of course you can filter this wine if you so choose, but you're going to lose a lot of that color, and I mean when you're doing fruit wines, a lot of it is the radiant colors. Now Pin Cherry seems to be a pretty dark color here, and it will be good. So you just want to fill it to almost the top. Remove the plunger. So the next step is corking. A little hand corker like this one I find allows you to cork quickly and efficiently without having to monkey around with one of the stand ones. So you just load a cork in here that's been soaking. Now I use synthetic corks, and the reason why I use synthetic corks is because cork around here from the cork tree is not really a sustainable product. It's also a lot harder to find, and these synthetic ones seem to age quite well. So I've soaked it in water, I've sterilized it. Now it's time to cork. So all you want to do is firmly press down, and there you go. And there we are. We're done. Easy peasy. So you can put a topper on here if you like. I prefer not to, because I actually use the top of the cork to write identifying information on here so that I remember which is which, because I've got a lot of fruit wine aging over a lot of different times. It makes it nice and easy in my wine rack to just take a look and see that this one will be P, and that delineates it as Pin Cherry. You also want to store this on its side. This has got 9 more months of aging to go. Storing it on its side will mean the cork is actually wet, and it will help prevent cracking of the cork and allowing this to go sour before its time. Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate it very much. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and a subscribe. You can join us on Google Plus and Facebook if you'd like to ask questions, or post questions in the comment section below. I appreciate your views very much. You have yourself a great day.